Hi, I'm Al, and I'm here to do a reading today where we talk about what this next cycle has in store for you. It's time to start something new. This is a timeless reading, but as I'm filming it, the last eclipse in Pisces is going to happen on Thursday, so tomorrow or today, as this video is dropping. So let's see what it is. There should be 3 options in the thumbnail and in the description, as well as if you fast forward, and you can also see them right here and pick which one's calling to you, and let's get going. All right, pile number 1. So okay, just fell right out. Don't love how the lighting is working today. The sun is, it's beautiful, it's shining, but I don't know how well you can see me. That's okay. I don't really matter here. This is about you. You saw what your main card's going to be, but I haven't yet. It is separation. Okay. This can mean a lot of things. When I think of separation, what I'm thinking of, this is the 3rd stage of spiritual alchemy. And what I think of when I see this is separating what we've been conditioned to believe, to feel, to want from what we actually authentically want, feel, think, believe. So there's a separation happening between what you think you want and what you actually want, or what you've been told to want and what you actually want. Let's get some more insight here. Okay. Yeah, you've been out of your heart space lately. And this might have something to do with some inner child wounds. Maybe you're working on inner child stuff, and it's been, I did EMDR for a while, and I was pretty dissociated the entire time I did it, despite it being one of the most magical, important things I've ever done in my life. I was not in my heart space at all in that process. Let's see. I want to make sure that we're actually able to see things here. So not being in your heart has meant maybe being disconnected from your true self. And that makes sense with the separation card. We're separated from what we authentically want, what we need, because we're listening to the voices and the external input that's been telling us what we should want and what we should need and what we should believe. This is an opportunity for you to try out new forms, for you to try out new things, give the stage to parts of you that maybe haven't had it before or recently. This new cycle is really going to be about you stepping out of a box created by and I really feel like there's a lot here about external input. And it makes sense with the orphan, when we're a kid, a lot of us want to make the adults in our life happy or pleased with us, which means that we do things we think they want. But this is about focusing on what matters to you and protecting it and honoring it. So you are moving into a new era of doing things for you your way. And what a cool thing. And also maybe a really uncomfortable one. There's some past life healing in here. If you do deity work, you may feel called to or may already work with Hecate. It's important that you see your sensitivity as a gift. And know that the sensitivity that you feel is a powerful thing and something that you can use to your advantage. It's not necessarily a weakness, even if it feels that way sometimes. you might be doing a lot of work in your dreams about this. Maybe you haven't been feeling super well rested lately. And part of that is because you're doing a lot of work in your dreams. 4:44 on the clock as I say that. You're doing a lot of work in your dreams right now on this wound. This is definitely stuff from your childhood, definitely stuff from your life and maybe past lives as well. You're going to be asked to share what you know. And by doing this work and then sharing it, you're going to find a new sense of vitality. And this is going to allow for a very intense but positive transformation in your life. Love where you are. Use your sensitivity to know when to act. Connect your heart to your head when determining what you would like. It's important that you're connected with your heart here. Because you haven't been. This is an opportunity for a rebirth that's going to require you to come from the heart. And so maybe there's a specific perspective you've been looking at all of this with, and it's important that you kind of take a step back and detach from your perspective and try to see it more holistically. And this might look like non-dualistic thinking, which is something that I do with a lot of my clients when I do shadow work and things with them, which is looking at everything as data and recognizing how our opinions or bias when it comes to things like this can actually prevent us from seeing the whole picture. So it is important to be able to step back and look at things with a detachedness, with a relaxed attention. You might feel, when we change things like our boundaries and what we want, and we're less catering to those around us, we also often deal with the outcome of the people who had benefited from us doing that, feeling like something's being taken away from them. And it's important that you know that that's a them problem and not a you problem. This process will involve dissolving kind of ideas of who you thought you were. Because the ideas of who you thought you were so rooted in what you thought you needed to be for other people. Right now, love where you are and do what you can to be in the present moment. Be present in your body. That's how you connect with your heart. Having that mutual collaboration between head and heart is really important here. And it's also important to know that the relationships that you have that are collaborative, reciprocal, mutual, that are loving, I just hit the mic, sorry if that was loud, they're going to be okay with you taking something away from them because they want the best for you. And so not only will you have some shifts in your relationships, you're going to see where people's priorities lie. You're going to see if a relationship is maybe a little more transactional than you thought it was, or conditional. That was too many cards. That wasn't much less. If you aren't willing to take the leap into doing this, it's going to block you from expanding, and it's going to create a lot of unnecessary suffering for you. It's important that you recognize that yes, the situation that you're in currently, where you are operating for the desires or needs or expectations of other people, is probably comfortable. It's what you know. You are also assuming that what could come out of this or come before this, or sorry, come after this, could come from this change is worse than the pain you know. But what if it's like insanely better? What if you're moving into an era where you get to build and live a life that you love? There is fear in advocating for yourself here, but it's important that you do it anyway and you take your power back. You know that this situation, you know that the approach that you've been taking isn't serving you anymore. And so it's time that you take that knowledge and you do something with it. And whenever I give that kind of message, I like to tell people imbalance between heart and head, not a surprise. I like to tell people, when the universe lets you know that it's time to move on from something, and you have that gnosis, that knowing, and then you don't do it, you don't climb out of that box, eventually the universe will pick you up and throw you over the threshold, and it's a lot less fun when it's not you who makes the move. It's going to be way more destabilizing, and it's going to be less within your control. Not to say that we really have control over anything, but it is going to be, you're going to have less choice in how it happens. So you can make a choice here. You can wait and see what happens and not make the choice. But I think that you're going to find that if you make this choice, your life is going to transform for the better, and you're going to feel more alive and in love with your life than you've ever been. So what are you going to do? I'm so curious. I feel attracted to this reading. I think this is, some of it rings true to what I've been dealing with personally. But I'd love to hear you comment. Let me know how this landed. Let me know what this means to you and what you're going to do with the information that you have. Yeah, I hope this was helpful, and I hope to see you next week. Hi, pile number 2. All right, you've seen the card for your pile, but I have not. So let's see what this reading's about. What is this new cycle bringing in for you? Okay, reddening. We're moving into our body. We are celebrating the body. We are gaining vitality. There's power here. It's important to know that the journey that you're going on here is about what's bigger than you. It's about venturing into the unknown and being so anchored to yourself, to your being, to your body, and not in an attached way, but in a way that allows you to feel safe in it. This is about feeling safe in your body. Funny that the vessel comes out. It's literally about the body. But there's something about your relationship or something about the situation with your body that it's time for it to change. It's outlived its purpose, and it's time for it to be broken down and turned into something new. Time for you to connect to it and to all there is. There's something here about oneness, about connecting with the everything, right? You're on this threshold right now, but it's important that you recognize the ways in which you might be seeing some of this as a negative. So it's important here that you recognize that when you take in beauty and suffering with the same mouth as the crone does, you are able to learn everything from the situation, as opposed to when we get this tunnel vision towards what we think is the good or right thing, we lose all of the other wisdom and knowledge that's being given to us in the situation. So it's important that you recognize that even if it feels bad or different or unfamiliar to change things, that doesn't mean that it isn't a positive thing. Discomfort is good. It is necessary for growth, and it's important here. This isn't something you're going to be able to rush. This is something that's going to require patience. It's going to require you to expand what you believe you are capable of and what you believe is possible in your universe, and connecting to the inner strength that you have to be able to sustain the discomfort of this process. This is, it's moving into the physical body, but it is also embodiment in a way that is probably new and unfamiliar to you. And it is embodiment in a very spiritual way. It's something that's going to bring you a lot of wisdom, not only about yourself, but about the universe. It's going to make you more connected to everything, to the universe. This isn't about connecting with yourself as much as it is about connecting with everything. The body is just the doorway. Usually jimming the camera helps. Hello? Thank you. Yeah, by communicating with your body, you're going to be connected to inspiration, to vision, to power. Okay, there were accidentally 2 cards from the other deck here. Okay. With a different approach, you'll glide through a situation with grace and ease. Going inward and bringing your understanding, perspective, or behavior into flow will help your dreams take flight. Yeah, there's a perspective shift that's required here for this expansion, for this growth, for this connection. Be sure that you're using your time in the best possible manner. You might consider taking time to organize yourself, or perhaps a project you're working on could use some fine-tuning. It's really about fine-tuning your approach and trying something new in the way that you've been connecting with yourself. It's important that you know that you're safe and you're protected as you're on this journey. It's safe for you to have your heart open here. It's safe for you to take risks. It's safe for you to see and understand what's going on around you. You are protected here. And it's important that you connect with source, which means going within yourself, going within your body, creating this shift in the way you connect with yourself and everything, which will ultimately create a huge shift in your life overall. 555 as I say that. We have messages from the divine coming in about being authentic and self-directed, that you have the power to do this, to make this happen, to create this experience for yourself, and that you're guided into this. You're not alone in this. The divine is walking you through this path. And you might be struggling with being vulnerable here, with feeling vulnerable in being present in your body, in feeling things, in feeling your feelings, in showing up in vulnerable ways. And I think this has to do with a long history of being in situations where you've been victimized. And once we've, played out that role so many times, we hit a point where we expect that to be the role that we're going to play in any situation that we're in. But it's important for you to know that you are safe, you are protected here. You can go down this path and not assume that you're going to be victimized, that you're going to be hurt. That doesn't mean hard things won't happen. It doesn't mean that suffering won't happen. But this is a new cycle where those lessons that you were learning from very specific kinds of victimization is over. You don't have to be prepared for it. You don't have to be hypervigilant about it. Yeah, take time to be in the present moment and be in flow with this, because this isn't something that, it's not something that you have to be afraid of. It's a gift that you're being given because you've done a lot of hard work to get here. And you should be proud of the work you've done and excited for the outcome, and take this gift that's being given to you. Staying in your comfort zone here is actually going to keep you in the old stuff. Your willingness to move beyond being too guarded, your willingness to move into that vulnerability is actually what's going to take you out of that suffering. So you kind of have 2 paths here. There's the path of staying in the comfort zone with the pain that you know, remaining guarded and lacking vulnerability so that you don't get hurt, but inevitably being hurt because you're stuck there, versus stepping out of it into something completely new where that kind of hurt might exist, but not to the same caliber at which it did in the past. So you might think that you're protecting yourself by not venturing into the unknown, but you're actually keeping yourself inside that pain. And you don't have to do that. You have a choice to make something completely new for yourself that doesn't involve that pain cycle. Like I said, this is a new cycle. You're on purpose. You're on the right path. You're headed in the right direction. So trust it, and trust yourself, and trust the universe. You have amazing things waiting for you on the other side of your willingness to show up. Don't let your bias, this limited vision, this attachment to good or bad, safe or vulnerable, to prevent you from gaining all of the wisdom of the situation, even if it's uncomfortable. It's not uncomfortable because you can't do it. It's uncomfortable because you've never done it before. This is a completely new cycle with new lessons, and those lessons aren't going to mirror the old ones. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to be guarded. You don't have to be vigilant. You get to feel safe and excited. That's what's here. That's where you're going. If you choose to walk through the door, but you have to choose. You have to make the choice. Because the divine can be here giving you these messages all day, but unless you exercise your will and step through that doorway, nothing will change. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this landed in some way. Leave a comment and let me know what this meant to you or how it showed up for you. And I hope to see you next week. Bye. Hello, pile number 3, and welcome. You've seen your card for this reading, but I have not. So let's find out, what's this new cycle got in store for you? What's this transition like? Where are you going? Where are you headed? Venus, I love that. And I'm hoping that this is on screen because, where's that at? Okay, right there. I usually, oh, and now it shows up. I use my tablet to mirror so that I can see what I'm filming. And sometimes it goes out on me, and it just did. Okay, so we've got Venus here. We've got this, this love, this attraction, you're moving into something new when it comes to love. And this doesn't necessarily mean romantic love. It could mean love of self. It could mean a lot of things. Okay, so how do I want to do this? There's something about a mother wound here. We've got controlling, limiting. There's some kind of the death of an old pain. And from that coming this gem that's been being kind of created within you through grit. You know, water flows on stone and creates something new. And this is bringing you more in line with your authentic self. There might be some kind of desire for things to be different, desire for things to change or to show up differently for you. And with that, an apprehension to accept the present moment as it is, or to trust that you can create something different. It's important that you go within and tend this seed, this gem, this growth, this thing that's new, this new expression of self. Everything you need is inside of you. Yeah, your body knows. And it's important that you are both listening to your body and nurturing it. That you're nurturing yourself inside and out. This absolutely is self-love. Something about your relationship with your mother or some kind of feminine energy in your life has blocked has maybe previously, I see this as maybe something that it's already been kind of cracked open, but this cycle is really pulling everything out. Something about this person kind of obfuscated or prevented you from seeing yourself clearly, from seeing what makes you beautiful and irreplaceable and unique and powerful. And something about this journey is taking you to see this more clearly. And that includes the power you have to create things, to create with the universe, to create with yourself, to see what's happening and transmute it. And your body knows. So this is something that was done psychologically, was done in the mind, but your heart, I'm grabbing the mic, sorry. You're in your heart, in your inner world, in your soul, the knowledge that you have this power, this knowledge of who you are and what you're capable of is there, and it's growing. Your body knows, so nurture your body so that it can continue to show you, and believe, apparently that's important, believe in your ability to harness that power. Remember moments where you've known that this power exists. It's really interesting because on a personal level, this is about moms, and my mom's dead. So we have this remembrance honoring the dead, but blue jays are her thing. She shows up as blue jays all the time in really obnoxious ways, and like unbelievably obnoxious ways. And so I find it really interesting that is showing up here. But that's definitely like a personal thing. Despite the pain that probably went with whoever this was kind of preventing you from seeing it, they've given you the gift of owning it in a way that you wouldn't if you took it for granted. And that doesn't mean that what they did was right, or that you have to forgive them or thank them even, but just recognize the power of this reclamation. Yeah, break free from this, because you get to decide what it is you want, and this doesn't have to hold you back anymore. We can express happiness. And I love we have this rainbow here. There's this expansion. There's rainbow back there too. This expansion, I feel like it needs to be in the front because of it. We have this expansion here, and I don't even know if this is on camera because my tablet went out again. This expansion, this growth, and of course someone is mowing. I apologize if that's loud. This is something that's held you back for a long time, and it doesn't have to anymore. So take a few deep breaths, reconnect with your peace, and see this for what it is and appreciate it. Let go of the old things. There's this big change coming in, and cultivate a sense of adventure as you move into a new expression of yourself, a new understanding of yourself, and a new connection with yourself. Every step counts. There's an advantage in taking things slowly. Breathe deeply and fully consider your options. This isn't something you have to rush through. This isn't something that you have to make happen. This is something that's happening, whether you are noticing it or not. You are on the right path. You're in the right place. You're doing everything the way you're supposed to. Don't give your ego too much benefit of the doubt. The identity that was built around these beliefs that you were taught by someone else, your ego is going to have trouble letting go of that identity, because when those identities start to die, our ego thinks that we are actually dying. You're not. It's not. It's just kind of dramatic, and that's okay. As a Leo stellium, I get it. But don't give it too much benefit of the doubt. It might be holding onto the door frame. Like, you might be yanking it through, but do it anyway. Because eventually it'll hit a point where it's like, oh, that was it. Okay, I'm fine. Your sensitivity here is really powerful. So observe what you feel and what shows up for you. And in those moments, be honest with yourself about what it is that you're seeing and what's happening, and then align with what it is that you truly want. You have an opportunity to achieve a new level of happiness and peace within yourself. You don't need to be self-indulgent when it comes to this ego stuff. Separate what you authentically believe, feel, and want from what you've been conditioned by others to believe, feel, and want. Let parts of you that have maybe been stifled by this belief have their moment on the stage, or you're going to feel very blocked. This is an opportunity to move into unconditional love, acceptance, and trust of yourself. And that involves recognizing that there were maybe people in the past that you felt like you could trust, that you felt loved you unconditionally, but who benefited from you not trusting yourself, not believing in yourself. And they might be well-meaning. I'm not trying to vilify them. There's a good chance that they were engaging in their own coping mechanisms and their own ego identities. But that doesn't change the impact that it had on you and your belief in yourself and what you can do and what you're capable of in your power. You have the ability to step out into a more full expression of yourself in a way that you've never done before, and that's an awesome gift. Those mowers are so loud. I'm so sorry. That is an awesome gift, and I hope you take it. Leave a comment. Let me know how this landed for you. I'm like trying to talk into the mic. Let me know how this landed for you, and I hope to see you next week.